We also learned this in a Mishnah.
High level of this one.
The Isha sheyesh la chatas oif safek. A woman that has a chatas oif that she needs to bring, but it's a doubt if she needs to bring it because she's not sure about the birth. V'avra la Yom Kippurim, and Yom Kippur passes. Chayeves la v'ilach Yom Kippurim. She has to bring it after Yom Kippur because that chatas oif meisha machshar telechel bezvachim. It allows her, prepares her to eat from sacrifices. It's not an atonement. Elamayata. Okay, let's try again. Safek Mitzayra, we're on the second acronym over here. Second number. Yom Kippurim, we're not sure if he's a Mitzayra. How could it be we're not sure if he's a Mitzayra? We don't know if the white hair came before the spot or the spot came before the white hair. So Loi Maisi, Yom Kippur passes, he shouldn't have to bring this carbon to Avrala Yom Kippurim. The Chet Shein Makar Bayala Makimhu. Only Hashem knows if he's Tameh. He doesn't know if he's Tameh, but he's bringing his atonement just in case. And Yom Kippur should atone for such things that only Hashem knows. This is, the atonement of Yom Kippur is only for sins. This is for impurity. This is different. He has to bring a sacrifice. Rab Shmuel Bar Nachmeni, Rab Yaina's son, probably, Zayin Dvarim Negoyim Bayim. 7 things. Tzaras comes. We have a simon here. Gegag Shesholtz. And Gegag Shesholtz stands for Schultz. Which Schultz do you know? The comics. The Gezel, Gilei Arayas, Gasas Aruach. Those are the 3 gimels. Shvuas Shav, Shvichas Damim, Lashon Hara, and Tzaras Ayin. Those are the Shesholtz. So it comes for sins. The Gemara says, "Mitzayra ki ma'isi lav lechapar ma'isi l'shtir bechilas kachemhu." The Mitzayra doesn't bring it for the sins; it brings it just for the to be able to eat kachem. Elamiyata safik nazir shavalei yom kippur le'ma'isi karban. A safik nazir, that means a nazir that's safik if he became tummy or not. He shouldn't have to bring his karban after Yom Kippur comes. The keeper Yom Kippurim the Chitchin Makabel Makim, who only Hashem knows about it, and Yom Kippur should work. Rabbi lechal chatas lechal tuma. That's tuma. That's not a sin. Tuma. Yom Kippur doesn't take away tuma. Rabbi Lazar Bar Kapper Damar Nazir Chaytehu. What about Rabbi Lazar Kapper? Rabbi Lazar Kapper said that a nazir that takes a vow is doing a sin. Why is he doing a sin? Because it's not enough that the Torah forbade you the 613. You have to add onto you more. Wine and other things. It's a sin to add to take these types of vows. Obviously, there's a sin here. The Gemara explains that his carbon is not for atonement for that sin. It's only Ella. You have to skip the parentheses. Lemechel of Nazir's Tarahu. Let's read the brackets. For Nazir's Tara to start, for the new Nazirs to start. Elamayata, we're up to the last one. No, the second to the last one. Suffix saita, Chevrolet Mikbun Leitese, a saita, a suffix saita. We don't know if she's tummy or not. Means if she lived with this man. She shouldn't have to bring her carbon mincha because the kapala yemik from the chitchein makabayala makaim. He was secluded in the room, so she has to. But we don't know if they committed the sin. So this is also an impurity. And she's bringing it for the impurity. Abaya Amar is supposed to say, Bayal Makir Bay. What's going on over here? You said that it's only sins.
At that point, just because of the idea
it's
that
called
it could
Tuma.
possibly have been something wrong
Right.
because of the way it looks. So now a chet or an impurity is even the appearance of a possible chet.
No, this is called Tuma. When if she committed the sin,
Well, obviously, but I'm saying if she didn't commit this sin, you don't know. You don't know if she did or didn't. Okay, that's the premise.
right?
So what kind of tumah is it? Yeah, they did or you didn't. Just the appearance of a
Let's
sin
take
is
out
not
this
necessarily
teretz.
the
On the bottom, the Sefer Be'er Sheva probably. Meiche kan haiti ruta so Rabbi Sheva.
Sefer Be'esheva. Okay, another one to look for.
You know Be'er Sheva?
I don't have it.
It's not a Chassidish Sefer.
No, I have a lot of machzos.
So, he says, Boyel Makir Bay. What do you mean? This is the whole story. Is a funny story. Saying only Hashem knows. What do you mean? There were two people involved. The man must know what he did, even if she was asleep, but the man wasn't asleep, so he has to know what. Even though we're not suggesting that either. There's two people there, right? Rava Amar Saita Kimasi Lavar Ravain Kasya. Rava says that a Saita brings the korban to clarify if she sinned or not. Elamiyata, we're up to the last point of here. Egla Rufa Shabala Yom Kippurim. What about the Egla Rufa? If Yom Kippur passes, why do you still have to bring it? Amar Abaya Hayrig Makir. The one that the murderer knows. It's not just Hashem. Someone knows. Rava Amar Amakra. Rava says, the pasuk says, that there is never an atonement except for Egla Rufa for murder. There's no other atonement. Okay? That means Yom Kippur can't atone. Nothing can atone for murder except the Egla Rufa. Rav Papa Amar Makra, Kapalam Yisrael, Ruya Kapara Zu, Shetchapar al Yetzim Mitzrayim. Rav Papa says, we have a pasuk that says that when they bring the Egla Rufa, they say atone for your nation Israel. And this is such a big atonement that this can atone all the way back to the Yetzim Mitzrayim for the murders that took place until Yetzim Mitzrayim. Well, the Yetzim Mitzrayim was many Yom Kippurs ago. So that means that Yom Kippur doesn't atone.
But who is it atoning for?
I guess the murderers. Oh, the community probably.
The Rabbanim has to be the Rabbanim.
Yeah.
I can't see the murderer getting away
It's
with it.
atoning for the Rabbanim.
It atones for the community
fact
and
that
not
there's an appearance
stopping
on
it.
the community that someone there did something, but there's many people there who didn't, but because it's
Hashta
to
the
make sure the
Amrit.
community is cleansed. It doesn't. I don't know if it doesn't take care of the murderer. He's still a murderer.
Hashta the Amrit. Now that
Leave a train to catch.
yeah, is today's daf chavav? Okay, so Hashta the Amrit. Now that we've said Cheitzein Makabayal Amakim Yom Kippur Mechaper. Now that we said that Yom Kippur only atones for sins that only Hashem knows about. It's an excellent question. It's an excellent question. The guy doesn't know that he committed a sin. It was an Asham Tali, he's not sure. Yom Kippur atones for it. He finds out after Yom Kippur that he did really commit the sin. So he has to bring a chatas. Question is, at Yom Kippur, no one knew about it. Except for Hashem, the atonement should be done. Amar Abzeira leimatas amrit. You can't say that. The ksiv kra yidia gabi chatas, v'gabi nasi, v'gabi tzibur. We have 3 times it says awareness. And it's going to tell us that one of them is going to be extra. And the extra one is going to tell us that when you find out after Yom Kippur that you definitely committed the sin, you have to bring the chatas. We're going to have something extra here. But we're going to have to need. You see, what happens here is that you only bring a karban if you know that you did the sin. You only bring these type of chatas if you know that you committed the sin. So it says by each of these sins, by an individual that sinned, by a nasi that sinned, and by the community that sinned. The nasi that sinned has different types of sins. One of them could be avodah zarah. The community that sins is usually the bezdin paskined wrong, and the community followed that psak, and they sinned, and they have to bring a karba. So it goes like this. Tzrichi. The Gemara says, 1 second, it's necessary to write all of them. What are you saying? It's extra. Because of kragabi yachid. Let's say we just say yachid. That means a regular chatas. Hava mina kulam yachid leyasyan. I would have said that you can't learn from just him. Dikulam mifrach. You have a problem there. Mali yachid shekol karban in a keva. A yachid, his karban is only in a keva. Now, for some reason, this is considered a lighter karban. And then over here, there needs to be awareness of the sin. The other ones, maybe not. So nichtav gabi nasi v'nesi hanach minasi. So just write by nasi, by the king that commits a sin. We'll learn from that. He doesn't bring a nekeva, just a female animal. Gemara says, 1 second. Yachid minasi layasi dikul mifrach. You can't learn from a nasi because he has different halachas. Malanasi shekein ein b'shmiyas kol. Shmiyas kol means that we make him testify. We administer an oath to him that he should testify in court, and a king doesn't have to testify. So he doesn't have that halacha. So we can't learn from a nasi. Tamer b'yachid shken yeshlim b'shmiyas kol. The yachid has his other halachas. V'tzibur minasi layasi. What about the tzibur? Maybe you can learn them from a nasi. It says no. Very interesting. A nasi also has one type of karban, that's nekeva. If he does avodah zara, he brings a female animal, an ez bashnasa, a goat. Nichtav gabi tzibur. So let's write only the third one. V'nesi yachid v'nasi minei, and we'll learn those two out of tzibur. So zikla mifrach mal tzibur shkein chayavan al helm davrim shigas ma'isa. Tzibur only works when they didn't know the law, and then they commit the act. There needs to come with the psak. That's a totally different thing. Mechadi yediyah layasi. We can't learn from one, but teisi chadi yediyah mitarti. Let's learn. There's three over here. Let's learn one from two of them. So we're going to make combinations and say that one of them is extra. Don't write it by the individual. We'll learn from the king and from the community. 1 second. The nasi and the tzibur both don't testify. The king can't testify, and the community doesn't testify. You don't administer an oath to the community. It's only to an individual. You don't force him to testify. But an individual does testify. So the Gemara says, let's try differently. Don't write that you need to have this awareness by the community's karban. We'll learn it by the individual and the king. They have female sacrifices. The community always has male sacrifices. So don't write by the nasi. We'll learn from the individual and the community. What could you ask? Are you going to say that they don't have testimony? 1 second. You're going to say that they have female sacrifices? The community doesn't have female sacrifice. Until there's knowledge, you're not chayav. So why does it have to say it extra by nasi? We could have learned it. The Gemara says, if we don't need that awareness, that's going to teach us that you bring a chatas if you come to the awareness of the sin after Yom Kippur. Abaya says, it's not a good limud. I wouldn't have been able to learn it from an individual and the community together. Why? An individual and the community never change. A nasi can change. He could get deposed or abdicate. Could give it up, I guess. I don't know. He could change his status. Elamar Abaya says, I'll give you another source for how we know that after Yom Kippur you have to bring the sacrifice michti. Mitzvah. We learn mitzvahs yalfi me'adadi. We learn all the sacrifices one from another. Given the yalfi me'adadi, lamidi the kasav shalish yediyos. Then why do they have to say 3 times that oihoida, or he knows about it? Gabi yachid, gabi nasa, gabi tzibur. So that all of those extra meaning in ligufei and the gamri la mitzvahs tinei win lahech the misad libasi mekipurim hu the ma'isichatas. So because we don't need it, because we have a Gzeir Shava that compares all the sacrifices together, so we're going to use this to tell us that if you have this awareness after Yom Kippur, you bring the Chatas. Maybe after Yom Kippur he brings it because Yom Kippur doesn't atone for that sin. Maybe after he brings an Ashram Tali, and then he finds out that he did the sin, you shouldn't have to bring the Karban Chatas because the Ashram Tali worked for that. It says, the Kamaisi Ashram Tali, Lai Maisi Chatas, Amarav Amarkra, Oy Haida Elav Mikol Makim. It says, Oy Haida Elav. Once he finds out, he does bring it. Hashadam Kimisiad Lai Maisi Chatas, Ashram Tali Lamaba. If that's the case, so why does he bring an Ashram Tali at all? Amarav Zera, Shemeis Belayavan. So if he dies without sin. Ashram Tali is just for the interim. In case he passes away. Maskef Larava, Meis Misim Marekas. If he dies, his death should be an atonement. It's not for his death. It's while he's alive. It should protect him from punishment before he finds out.
Yeah.
Good job.
Is there a way to get a copy of both?